Hey Retro Community, how's everyone doing today? Weather's finally starting to break, and it's getting warmer out and nicer out, so that's kind of cool. This is a follow-up to part 3 of my game room video. This is the video that I mentioned. I'm going over some of the design decisions I made, some of the frustrations I've had to deal with, and etc. So what I'm going to go over first is some of the simpler things like these curtains, drapes, whatever you want to call them. I saw them on Amazon and I thought these are really, really freaking cool. You got, pretty much every major controller since, well, the NES. And, you've got, the North American, European NES controller as well as the Japanese Famicom controller. Switch Joy-Con as well as the Switch itself, kind of both original Xbox controllers, the Duke and the S. Got the PlayStation 1, DualShock, Wiimote here, PS4, GameCube kind of in the corner here. I'm guessing Xbox 360, and here you've got Xbox One, Dreamcast, the Wii Pro Controller, the European and Japanese SNES Super Famicom controller, not the North American model, although it's basically the same, just the buttons are different. 3-button Genesis controller. There's part of the Wii U gamepad there. And I think that's it. Oh, Virtual Boy down here and up here. As well as, for some reason, the Steam controller there. There is no Jaguar. There is no Atari 2600. So they kind of left a couple of things out, but it is what it is. Next simple thing is going to be, this light switch, which you saw, I think, in part 2, as well as these neat little doorknobs here. These were just, again, Amazon purchases, simple things. I knew when I was really designing everything that I wanted something like that, just to make it a little bit more fun and exciting and all that. So now let's get to the more challenging stuff, the furniture. So this here is, I forget the model, but it's from IKEA. It's not the one that I wanted, but it's what they had in stock. Things have been kind of in tight supply, and just got what I could. Not a whole lot of shelf space here, but behind these drawers are shelves that I can use. A little bit of a mess. I just threw everything in there for now. I may take this shelf out and just add it here to give me some extra storage. Also another one in there too, but I'm not going to probably do anything with that one. These bookcases, these are just generic Target ones, similar to what you can find also at Walmart and similar stores. I wanted the IKEA, I think they're Billy bookcases, because you can get them kind of like a half depth, which would be perfect for media. Plus they sell extra shelves. I have not been able to get those. Well, at least at the time. They might be available now. I haven't checked. I have another rant about IKEA in a little bit, but I ended up just going with these Target ones. They had them in stock. Fortunately, they only come with 1, 2, 3, and then 4 shelves. One of them, is static. I added this one here by just taking a black shelf and putting some contact paper over it. It's not quite the same shade of white, but whatever, it works. I did the same thing over here with this bookshelf too. I added a couple extras, as well as these shorter bookcases too. This one here I left basically stock. This one I added this little shelf here, which you can kind of see the contact paper wasn't adhered properly, but again, it works. Unfortunately though, you can't buy replacement shelves for these types of bookcases, and you pretty much just you're stuck with what they give you, or, like I said, I went and just took some black ones that I have from another bookcase that was similar in size and just put some contact paper over it. And then this coffee table, it looks like an IKEA one. It's not. It's actually off of Amazon. I think I paid $40 for it. I wanted one of those lack tables that has like the little shelf at the bottom. They didn't have them in the store. So I tried going online to buy, the bookcases, table and everything. I went to add into my cart and everything, and gave me a warning saying that, one of the items have been removed from your cart. And I'm like, why? And it was this table. I'm like, what's going on? I figured maybe there's a glitch or something. I'll take a look at it later. Later on in the evening, I went back onto their site and, added everything in the cart and everything's there. Cool. Go to checkout and I noticed $100 to ship. Hang on a second. There's no way it can cost $100 to ship that stuff. I realized, I didn't sign in. I forgot to sign in with my IKEA account. So as soon as I signed in, I got that message again saying items have been removed from your cart. Shipping was a reasonable $30, but I wanted this table or the IKEA version and I could not get it. And I have absolutely no idea why. So I signed back out, re-added the items to the cart, let me do it. But again, at $100 shipping, it doesn't make any sense. And I did some searching online, and I guess a lot of people have the same complaint about IKEA with their outrageous shipping prices or not being able to get certain things. I don't know, it's odd. I know that there is a supply shortage of a lot of things. You've got supply chain issues, labor shortages, etc. But if you have the item, why can't I get it? Or get it with reasonable shipping? It blows my mind that they were doing that. So I'm a little frustrated with it, even just thinking about it now because of how stupid it is, but whatever. You saw in the part 2.5 video, these little floating shelves. These I was able to actually find pretty easily, and I bought a couple of them just in case they would come out of stock. But the ones that I had a hard time trying to find locally, and I should have just bought them online, but I kind of wanted to see them in person, were these types of floating shelves. I bought 2 of them. I only used one because, as I said, I was thinking about originally putting another one here, but that could potentially interfere with me wanting to mount the TV at a future date, or if I get a larger TV, so we'll see. I mean, I will find a use for it. I'm not just going to let it sit in the storage or anything, so... last piece of furniture is going to be the couch. I just threw a gray comforter over to kind of make it match a little more. The pillows definitely don't match, but I can easily find pillow covers for those. What I can't find is a sofa cover for a sofa sleeper. Now, this is not a futon. This has an actual mattress inside that pulls out. And I wanted to keep that functionality because I can then still use this as a guest room in the event that I have guests that come over. It's rare that they come over and stay the night, but it's still good to have that, right? And all of the couch covers that I would get, they kind of fit on like a sock. They're kind of like a spandexy type material, and they just stretch over everything, including the seating area, which then would inhibit the ability to pull the mattress out, right? They don't make, it seems, anything like that. They have them for futons, but futon you just fold in half and there's your bed. Fold it back and you've got your couch back again. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll buy just a regular one anyway, and maybe I can cut the part that goes over the seating area and maybe just fold it inward and then just put the cushions on top. Maybe that'll work. We'll see. And that's basically it for furniture. In terms of lighting, you guys saw the RGB lighting, and I might have gone a little bit overboard with them. I won't have them on for this video here, just in case anyone is a little more photosensitive. I don't want to have you skip back and forth to parts that you can watch, and I don't want to have to film 2 versions of this either. So, but with the lighting, that was probably the easiest to get for the most part, and the most difficult to implement. With these bookshelves here, what I ended up doing is just doing, rope lighting, string lighting, whatever, these ribbons here. And if you're not familiar with how these work, you can pretty much cut them in certain spots. Bring one out. So if you look, this isn't cooperating. So if you look at these strips here, you'll see that they've got these areas here where they have copper pads exposed, and it says GRB, and there's like 12 volt. There's a line that has a little picture of scissors on them. Well, you can cut these at this exact spot, and it won't affect the rest of the strip here. So everything after that cut won't work, obviously, because it won't be connected to power. Everything before should. So what I ended up doing, and you can probably see here behind this copy of Final Fantasy IV, I just went in and just soldered on some jumper wires that connects the strips. So it starts down here, works its way over, and then in between these two shelves I have just some DuPont cables acting as jumpers, and then it goes all the way down to here. It's gonna be really tough to see this, but the actual receiver and everything is right there in between, so I can control these two shelves all at the same time. It took a while to solder everything together, and it didn't fit perfectly because of where the cutouts were. They're not perfectly in line with the length of these shelves or anything, so I had to make do with what I had. It works. I think I did a good enough job with it, and for the most part, most people aren't going to be able to tell. Then I took a look at these shelves and how tall they were and everything. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. So I looked up online for just like bookcase lighting, and there were a few different options. There were like some bar type lighting and things like that, but those were designed more for plexiglass and glass in general, transparent things to help them glow kind of, which if I had those kind of shelves would be really cool, but I went with just a basic white for a nicer clean look. So I started looking into these puck lights, and I was trying to find some that were controllable through a smart app, maybe controllable through a smart home assistant, but there just wasn't anything that was like in a good price range. Reached out on Twitter, someone suggested, well, just get some battery operated ones. You know, they use little coin cells and they'll last forever since LEDs don't use much power, but I didn't want to go that route. I really wanted to use power, wall power for them, mainly because of the fact that, you know, in my experience with retro stuff, batteries are bad in general because of the fact that they can leak. And these lights aren't going to be on that often, and I don't want to run the risk of a battery leaking. And I know that it's not likely to happen, but if it does happen, I mean, look what it's going to leak on. I don't want that to happen. So, and I have some precedent in my life. I bought batteries last year, had them in a container, and went to go grab some, and there was just like a little pool of liquid. Some of the electrolyte inside just leaked out, ruined all the batteries in that package. So I've got some precedent there. I know it's not likely to happen, but I didn't want to take that chance. But I found these puck lights. They weren't terribly expensive. They're smart app controlled, but they're not smart home controllable because the app works off of Bluetooth only. It does not use Wi-Fi, which is good enough. I don't really need to be able to control these through a smart home assistant. I don't need to be turning them on and off if I'm out on the road or anything like that. So these LED strips, though, that are here, as well as this ceiling light here, these are smart app controlled and smart home controlled, and they're actually from the same vendor. So it's nice because I can use the same app, right? And they are RGB, they different lighting effects, things like that. You saw some of that in the part 3 video, which was the reveal. Oh, and I almost forgot. So all of the work that I did with soldering and splicing and everything, pain in the butt. And then when I was looking for these puck lights, I found this kit. And what this kit is basically these little splicers. You unlatch them, which I can't do now because I'm holding the camera in my hand and it's hard to do it one-handed. But basically there's little clips inside that, I can't even get it to, there we go, that kind of just press down on the actual contacts on the strips here, and no soldering required. And they give you a bunch of these, and they also give you connectors like this here, which you can use as kind of like a splitter. And the other cool thing are these little angle adapters, because I went and took some of the leftover strips, and it's gonna be hard to see, but you kind of saw the glowing effect in yesterday's video. Well, yesterday from when I'm recording this, but I kind of just matched up behind here like that. So I use these little angle connectors to do that, and these things are awesome. And the other thing this came with is just a bunch of wire that you can use for more traditional soldering. So, and then there's also this style connector here, which you can take then from a strip and turn it into connector like that, which then usually plugs into power sources and things like that. So if you're going to do any kind of like LED strip lighting, get yourself something like this. You don't have to get this one specifically. It's just the first one that I saw and grabbed it, and I said, I'm gonna do it. So I don't think there's a model number or anything. Here's a UPC code if you want. Again, not sponsored, no affiliate links or anything like that. If you have a better kit, leave it in the comments below. I'll take a look at it myself because this one's good, but if there's a better one, I'm always for it. So that's pretty much the lighting. That lamp there is just a basic lamp, so nothing fancy about that. I do, at some point, want to figure out how to do some kind of lighting with these shelves, either underneath or maybe on top, as well as this floating shelf here. Just not sure how I want to implement that just yet. I also would like to maybe do some lighting along the trim on the floor. And I've got some LED strips left over that I could use. Problem is that they don't have any like built-in diffuser or anything like that. So it's just bright LEDs that are shining through. I would rather have a diffuser to help soften the glow a little bit. So I'm gonna try to find some of those. We'll see. What else? I think that's basically it. I mean, I guess we can talk about why I chose this specific layout. This layout that I have here is actually probably the second design that I came up with. Initially, what I had wanted to do was this entire wall with just floating shelves and some that are extra reinforced, because I wanted to display the retro computers that I have too in this room, not just the games. But then I realized, well, this couch would then have to be further out, which would mean that there would be no room for a coffee table or to pull the mattress out if I need to use it as a guest room. And at the very least, it would obstruct that one shelf, which would kind of make it useless. So I scrapped that and said, okay, I'll just put a couple of floating shelves here. I might add a couple more, we'll see. And then just decided to go with this design instead, with the two bookcases on either side of a center console. So this is Game Room 1.0. There will be future updates to it. I'm not going to update every time I add something new, like a new game or anything, obviously. If I add shelving, if I get a new TV or mount this TV, redesign the room, whatever, I'll definitely put some updates on my channel. This particular series should not be considered to be a game room tour necessarily, in terms of like showing off the games and the consoles and things like that. I haven't done one of those, I think, in a few months, so I may do one later this year just to kind of do like an update based on what I had last year and this year, all the different games that I got and consoles and everything. But I mean, between part 3 and this unofficial part 4, you can kind of see everything that I've already got, so consider it like an unofficial game room tour, but I'll do a more official one later. This cart here, you might probably have questions about. Ignore it for now. I'm going to do a separate video on that, although just based on the footage you've seen, you can probably figure out what I did and how to recreate it, but I'll do a separate video for that just to give a basic tutorial on it. Yeah, that's basically it. So these are some of the decisions I made, some of the frustrations I dealt with. If you plan on making your own game room, plan it out. Put it down on paper, go over it, try to map it out on your head after the fact and look at everything. Make sure that shelves will fit where they're supposed to go, that you've got room for what you want to store in there, etc., etc. Because you don't want to just go to the store, just buy some shelves, put it in a room, and oh, this isn't going to fit, this isn't going to work right. So, and you're probably going to go through at least 2 revisions, maybe multiple revisions of your plan. And just remember, once you make a plan, stick to it. Don't keep changing, keep adding. In business world, it's known as scope creep. Stick to a project plan and just stay with it. That's it. It's not like you can't make improvements in the future, but when you want to just build it out, just do it, because you'll never get it done. This technically started off as a project in the beginning of 2020, and then, well, we all know what happened 2 years ago. Long time going. So that's it. If you guys want to see more these casual style videos, let me know. I kind of like them once in a while, shake things up. There will still be a little bit more structured videos, but if you want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, did you like this video? If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. I appreciate it, but there's never an obligation. You know, some channels have the little click ding logo that shows up in some of their videos. I don't have that. I don't know if I'm ever going to implement it. We'll see. I don't know. But if you didn't like this video, let me know in the comments below why. Hit the thumbs down. The reason I want to comment below is so that it can try to help me going forward. Otherwise, thanks everyone, and I'll catch you later.